Let us start our discussion today from the point we have reviewed last night. We have a critical pressure ratio. Our point of consideration today is the critical pressure ratio and choke flow. Now, here we have a convergent divergent nozzle here. Convergent, divergent nozzle. Now, what we have here, say a certain mass, certain gas or certain fluid is flowing here as uniform flow. This is the entrance, this is the throat, and this is the exit. What is this? M is equal to less than 1. M is the Mach number. Mach number is equal to the velocity of sound. This is an accepted procedure for a continuous flow fluid to judge its flow in terms of the velocity of the sound itself, whether it is equal to less or more than the velocity of sound. The mass flow rate per unit area here is given by this mass flow rate per unit area given by this equation, omega by A. Omega is the volume of the fluid flowing per second in cubic meter per second divided by the cross-sectional area of the fluid, which this altogether this will become omega divided by it will become centimeter per second flow, which is here rho into V. Rho is the density of the fluid in kg per cubic meter multiplied by the V is the centimeter per second, meter per second. So kg per second per square meter is the mass flow per unit area. Here we are saying that area is unit. Area is given as unity, so it is m cube per second. Here is also m cube itself per second itself. Now, this is given as omega by A is equal to rho into V. Rho into V in terms given as V is given as C into M. C is the velocity of the sound multiplied by the Mach number M itself. Means if Mach number is 1, the velocity of the flow is equal to C or is equal to the velocity of sound itself. And we have known from our earlier discussion the P divided by RT, C is equal to square root of gamma into RT, and rho V is equal to P divided by RT itself, because P is given by rho into gamma into rho into RT itself. So you replace rho by P divided by RT itself and multiplied by the Mach number M itself. So what we are doing here, first of all, we are bringing that R inside the square root, which will become R square in the denominator. If we cancel R square by R, then it becomes gamma divided by R, which is the square root under the square root itself. And if we took the T outside here, this is equal to T. We are keeping the T outside here, not the rho itself, but here P0 is equal to P0 into Mach number, divided by we have one square root of T0 here, one square root of T0 here, which is they have cancelled each other and brought this value of square root of T outside here. So what we are having here, T0 by T to the power half or square root, which multiplied by P0 by Pm itself. Now, we know P0 by Pm is equal to T0 by T to the power gamma divided by 1 minus gamma minus 1. And so we are replacing them, and other parts, this portion remains as it is. Now, omega by A last becomes gamma, all these first, second, and third terms remain that is it. First, second terms remain that is it, but from the third term, we know we are replacing T0 by T is equal to 1 minus 1 minus gamma minus 1 by 2 into m squared to the power gamma divided by gamma plus 1 to the power 2 minus gamma itself. Now, since P0 is the stagnation pressure P0, the T0 stagnation pressure, stagnation temperature, Y and R, these are all constant, P0, 1, M, 1, gamma, P0, T0, Y, R, these are all constant itself. The discharge per unit area, omega by Y, per unit area is a function of Mach number only itself. So there is a particular kind of Mach number where omega by A is the maximum. So what we are supposed to do, we have to differentiate it epsilon 7.13 with respect to m and equating to 0 itself. But what we are going to supposed to do here, then it's omega into d into omega divided by t to m here is equal to these full terms. After we have to derive one after another. So it's like this. First, here there is only one m here. So this portion, full this portion as well as this one will come out along with this full differential itself. So what we are having, this is we have differentiate m dm by m with here, and the full portion is totally repeated here, except for m itself. Next, you have to go to differentiate this portion itself. So what we are doing here in this case, here 1 plus gamma minus 1 by 2 into m square is, if you plot up in the numerator itself, it will be forwarded by a negative sign here, which is shown here. So if we differentiate, this portion will first come down, minus y plus 1, 1 by 2 into 1 minus y, and and this portion, if we have to take a variable, say some t or so, and differentiate separately, so its value will become t omega by 1 by 2, because 1 will be equal to 0, 2 into m itself. So such a big equation we have after differentiation of omega by I in terms of m itself. Now, so if we equate this portion equal to 0, what will happen? And this the left side, keep it on the left hand side itself. Then what is the common items here? One, this one, this one, this one, this one, this one are common item from both sides. So this can be immediately eliminated itself. Plus, this is not common, okay? So what we have, and this minus 1 is cancelling each other from here to here. And so this becomes gamma minus 1 by 2 into gamma plus 1 here by 2. So here by 4 itself. So this becomes m is here. This m and this m becomes, this 2 is cancelling each other. This one. And this m and m becomes m squared here. So becomes gamma plus 1 minus is all there. Gamma plus 1 divided by 2 into 1 minus gamma minus 1 by gamma into by m itself. Now, what happens here after further simplification? We will have this portion and this portion in the left hand side, right put this portion on the right hand side, and right hand side will have 2 plus gamma minus 1 by m square, because this 2 is cancelling this 2 itself. So this becomes 1 to 2 minus gamma minus 1 m square, or m square from here is equal to 1, or m is equal to 1 itself. So this charge per unit area is maximum when m is equal to 1 itself. Now, next question is, when v velocity is equal to c into m, the velocity of the sound multiplied by the Mach number, or this is c is equal to gamma into RT to the power 1 minus 4 to the power half or square root. So what we have dv by v, dv divided by v into dm by m plus half dt by t. If you take derivative in terms of t, it will have dv. C is a constant term, so it is left with dv by v is dv, and dm by m half rt of, and dt divided by t itself, and comma and m are removed to itself. Again t by t0, again t by t0 is equal to 1 plus gamma minus 1 by 2 into m square to the power minus 1. It is, we have got this is why that is 1 by 1 minus gamma, etc. By logarithm differentiation, I make the log then differentiated, what you have dt by t is equal to gamma square, gamma minus 1 m square divided by 1 plus gamma minus 1 by 2 into m square to dm by m. So with these two equation, this equation and this equation, what happens? This equation versus this equation, what happens? Dv by t is equal to, if we put the value of dt by t here, and so dv by this equation dv by v dt by t half dt by t, yes, and dm is replaced here by means of this, dm is already here, so both are equal to, dm is common from here as well as here, so both sides dm is all there, and one others will replaced by the by substitution will become 1 plus gamma minus 1 by 2 into m squared itself. Equation 12 and 16 becomes dA by A, m square minus 1 dm divided by m by A. What is 12? 12 is here. Further away, 12 and 16 becomes m square minus 1 dm divided by m into 1 plus gamma minus 1 by 2 into gamma square dA by A. By substituting now in the equation 17, m is the velocity of sound, Mach number 1, substituting any of this equation 11, 12, and 13, and start 17, 11, 12 in the earlier pages, and 16, 11, 12, and 17, dA is equal to 0, A is equal to constant, so m is equal to 1, occurs only at the throat and nowhere else. And this happens only when the discharge is the maximum itself. If the convergent diameter duct acts as a nozzle itself, then the divergent parts also, the pressure will fall continuously to create a continuous rise in velocity. So that this for divergent part means parts where restriction is going up, increasing by from minimum to maximum. So the pressure will fall continuously to yield a continuous rise in velocity. In other words, the velocity is omega by rho into A. Omega is equal to mass per unit area divided by density itself. Then for a certain mass flow rate with the decrease in pressure density, decrease at faster rate than the rate at which the area increases. As a result, the velocity continues to increase. So what we are doing, the velocity pressure will fall, but with a continuous fall in pressure, the continuous rise in velocity in the divergent part of the nozzle. Because this is clear, velocity is given by the rate of flow per unit area divided by rho into A, where rho is the density and rho into A, rho is the density as well as area is the cross-sectional area. For a certain mass flow rate, omega, so the decrease in pressure density, we see, decrease of pressure and density, you see, if density reduces, that reduces the velocity will go up. So omega goes down and velocity goes up. Now, for a certain mass of fluid, omega will decrease in pressure. So density faster at which area increases, faster than the rate at which area increases, as a result of which velocity continues to go on increasing. It is true only but for the compressible fluid, not for incompressible fluid like water like this. Because the velocity of the gas is subsonic because before the throat becomes sonic at throat, and then subsonic because the throat becomes sonic at the throat, and then supersonic at the exit, provided the exhaust pressure is low enough itself. But the reverse situation prevails. The reverse situation means when the incident velocity is supersonic, what will happen? The whole duct then become a diffuser for increasable fluid. The conversion is convergent craft acts as a venturi, with the convergent part acting as a nozzle and the divergent part acting as a diffuser. The main limiting velocity of such a fluid is the sonic velocity. When m is equal to 1, so what happens in the supersonic flow? Uh, uh, if it becomes sonic at throat, and then, but when the velocity becomes supersonic, what happens? Whole duct becomes a diffuser. Means it is actually uh, is rate is cross-section area is diffuser means the cross-section area is minimum at the entrance and maximum at the outlet, and it is increasing. So if in this case of velocity which is entrancing, the at certain pressure and temperature they're coming in, and as the area is go on increasing, the exhaust pressure is low enough, uh, which is convergent part acts as the nozzle and the divergent part acts as a diffuser. The maximum velocity, limiting velocity of such a fluid is sonic velocity. When m is equal to 1 at the throat, the discharge is maximum and nozzle is said to be choked itself. M is equal to 1 occurs at the throat, but discharge is maximum here and nozzle is said to be choked. Means it is not allowed to go out. It is incapable to allow more discharge even with further decreased exhaust pressure. So this discharge is known as critical discharge. This is the maximum critical discharge of the maximum discharge. The property of the throat under this condition is called critical properties, designated as by superscript asterisk. So what happens at ending into 1? Then if it is equal to at the velocity at the throat is equal to the sonic velocity, the discharge can be the maximum one, and nozzle is said to be choked. Means discharge it cannot discharge anymore. The whole nozzle at the throat is choked itself, allowing more discharge. Even exhaust pressure reduces, discharge will not increase. This discharge is known as critical discharge. The maximum discharge it is possible, and the properties of the throat under these conditions are called critical properties. In a converging nozzle, the velocity at exit in a converging nozzle itself, the velocity at exit from the nozzle is sonic when the discharge through its maximum, and the exit property are critical properties itself. So, what a converging nozzle is doing, when exit is the converging nozzle, means that the convergent is from maximum to at the entrance and minimum to exit. Then the nozzle is then velocity must be sonic when equal to the velocity of sound when the discharge through it is maximum, and the exit properties are critical properties. Now in our other equation earlier we produced earlier, we put T0 to T0 and m is equal to 1. So T is the critical pressure with star as subscript at superscript, and 1 plus gamma minus 1 by 2 into 1. This is the gamma plus 1 into 2. So T0 2 by gamma minus 1, T star by T0, the ratio of the temperature, the ratio of the temperature at the throat where the velocity is sonic to the temperature is called critical temperature ratio. Ratio of the temperature at the throat where velocity is sonic, the inlet temperature T0 is called the critical temperature ratio. The critical pressure P star by P0 defined as the ratio of the pressure at the throat to the inlet pressure for choke flow m is equal to 1 occurs at the fluid and is given by P star by P0 2 by gamma plus 1 gamma divided by 1 minus gamma. Equation 18 and 19 hold good for an ideal gas. Thus, it seems that the critical pressure for ideal gas depends only on the specific heat ratio. The critical pressure issue that depends on the specific heat ratio. Are not good or too good for the ideal gas itself. For here, gamma is equal to 1.4, H0 by P0, 2 divided by 2.4 into 1 0.528. So the pressure here at 60 bar, 40 bars, here at 80 bars, 10 bars, a concentrated nozzle requires a back pressure of 5.28 pressure, with a so that flow is sonic at the exit. So we have to create a back pressure, otherwise the automatically, otherwise the velocity will increase more than the sonic itself. So it will become supersonic. So you have a back pressure which is equal to which is the critical pressure, which is equal to 5.28 bar itself. When the flow is conic at exit, for example, correctly defined convertible nozzle, with internal pressure of the Z bar, the velocity of the flow is 5.28, or the maximum for helium, gamma will be 1.67, and velocity P star by P0 is here, is equilibrium, it is reduced further to a certain extent. Hence, the helium at 10 bar, a convertible rubber requires a back pressure of 4.86 bar. But the sonic flow at the exit, the temperature at the throat of the temperature at the throat of the convertible nozzle with inlet pressure is 10 bars and get to the part 87 bar. The velocity ratio at the throat of the condenser nozzle or exit is given by this relation. V star is the critical velocity divided by is equal to gamma into R to the critical temperature to the whole to the power square root. Now the equation, last three equations, 18, 19, and 20 are not strictly valid. However, a close approximation is obtained if it is assumed that the steam expands isentropically in the nozzle following the PV to the power is concerned. A close approximation is required. Is obtained if it is assumed that the steam expands isentropically in the nozzle by following the pressure of PV to the power K is constant, where K is the constant inductive isotropic index, and it is not a ratio of specific heat as gamma itself. So for a uniform, it is not equal to the specific heat. It is not as per gamma itself. So steams initially dry, saturated equal to 1.135 for steam actually gradually superheated. Thus, XO is 100 is that's 19 can be again written as here. 19 is earlier equation here. This equation P by P0, P star by P0, 2 by gamma plus 1, gamma by gamma 1 as well. Achha. Then equation will just P by P0, 2 divided by K bar 1, gamma K plus K minus 1. In a small level, this equation is only shown in the next section, therefore, where steam enters a dry, saturated, P star by P0, 2 by 1.135 bar. And goes up to 0 to the power 0 by 2. 1.35. Irrigation answer is 0.7. It is when the steam entered the nozzle is superheated. Then P0 by P 1.3, put the value of gamma of superheated steam and get the value of V. In wet steam, general relation K is equal to 1.035 plus 0.1 X, where X is the quality of the steam may be used, where X is equal to 1, K becomes 1.13. So earlier, as given by the dry saturated steam. Flowing steam nozzle. in the steam nozzle, let us consider the flow of steam through a convergent diagonal nozzle. If the flow is adiabatic, that is Q is 0, 0, there is no heat transfer takes place, hence there is no work contraction also involved in it. And relating the potential energy change, the steady flow equation thus reduces to H0, is enthalpy at the stagnation point, velocity at the stagnation point, H1, and P1. If the velocity approaches, that is inlet velocity V0 is small, velocity that exists for the nozzle is by P1 minus 2 into H0 minus H1 to the power 3 into half, 3 to the power half. Which is equal to reduced to 44.72 into H0 minus H1 in 2000. Square root of 2000 is equal to 44.23 into the power H0 minus H1 to the power half meter per second. The velocity is given as the enthalpy drop across the nozzle in kg. Enthalpy at the stagnation point, enthalpy is the outlet, the total enthalpy drop across the nozzle itself. For isentropic flow in the nozzle, TDS is equal to DH minus dVp is equal to 0. It's a known equation. Rate of change of entropy is equal to change enthalpy minus work done by the during the process itself. But right flow is del H is equal to in 1 to dH is equal to 0 to 2 dV, because ds means there is no heat transfer takes place for isentropic flow itself. So half dH H0 minus H1 is equal to minus 0 to 1 VdP. From equation Vt H0 minus 1 V square minus P0 square divided by minus integration of 0 to 1 V into dP. Assume the pressure and volume of the steam during the expression of the PV to the power K is equal to constant equation, where K is the isentropic view and regulating the initial inlet quantity V0. So V square divided by 1 divided by 2 is the integration 0 to 1 P V to the power. And V1 is equal to V0 0 to 1 P0 0 P to the power K 1 by 1 P to the power 1 by dP, or K minus 1 K by K minus 1 P0 V0 minus P1 V1. As K by K minus 1 P0 into V0 1 minus P0 by P1, because we brought it out 1 minus P0 1 to the power 1 by K divided by K itself. Thus V1 again reduces from the equation here. The rate of steam flow, flow of steam given by omega A into P, A area into velocity divided by the volume itself, divided by the volume itself. So A1 multiplied by this full equation here, full equation here, two divided by K, 2K into K minus 1, P0 into V0 by V square by A, V square 1. Was 1 minus P0 by P0, 1 K minus 1 into K to the power half. Or omega by omega A minus 1, omega by A minus 1 is equal to 2 into K by K minus 1 P0 by P0. And P0 P1 by P0 to the power K minus P1 by P0 to the power K plus 1 by K. By analogy changing A1 to A, P0 P1 to P. So we are just changing the P and P and here. We are putting P0 here. the equation shows that for the given values of P0 and B0, the mass flow rate depends on the pressure P by P0 itself. There is a certain pressure ratio for which discharge omega by A is maximum. Therefore, by differentiating in terms of square brackets in the parts of the square bracket and put it to 0. So what will happen? These two equation from here, put it under the differentiation. So, and what we are doing, 1 by K record P1 P by P0, 2 minus K divided by K itself, or minus K plus 1 by K into to the power P by P0 to the power K by 1 by K. So this equation becomes this is equal to 0. So P by P0 star, P replaced by P star, and the P0 and P1 K by K plus 1 itself, and K into K minus 1. It is the same equation given in 721. This is the critical pressure ratio itself. Since the exit by P star is the convergent nozzle is used. If P is greater than P star, then convergent nozzle is used. And velocity of the stream at the throat or the critical velocity is given by 44 H0 by H star, where H0 minus H star is the drop of steam in the converging portion of the nozzle. The nozzle drops H0 minus H1 and H0 minus H star, and ready from the boiler or H minus S, only by H minus S charge itself. If the nozzle is only convergent, the maximum pressure to which the steam can be expanded is the critical pressure, and when the discharge is maximum and exit velocity of the steam is the sonic velocity, which is given in 28 itself. The critical velocity can also be obtained from this equation 25 for substituting the critical pressure ratio. So this is the equation we are getting, equation reducing to P to the power half itself. For superheated steam, K is equal to 1.3, P0 is equal to becomes 1.0 into P to the power P0 to the power half. For dry steam, K is equal to 1.13 divided by velocity to start is equal to 1.03 into P0 into the power half. Where P0 is the Newton meter and P is in meter cubic. P is the volume of flow is the meter cube divided by kg itself. Nozzle efficiency. Now, due to friction between fluid and the walls of the nozzle, the expansion process is reversible, although approximately adiabatic to a certain extent because flow is extremely high. The nozzle design, the usual practice is to base all calculation on isotropic flow and then make an analysis of friction using a coefficient of friction. So this is all isotropic flow where there is no heat transfer takes place, but we are putting allowance of friction, we are using a coefficient of friction itself. And nozzle efficiency eta n is defined as the ratio of the actual efficiency, ratio of the actual enthalpy drop to the isentropic enthalpy drop. So eta n H0 minus H1 divided by H0 minus isentropic heat drop H1s, where actual drop is H1, and for I think H0 is the stagnation enthalpy, stagnation minus 1 divided minus H1 divided by stagnation minus 0 minus divided by the isentropic efficiency. For ideal gas, C0, H0 will be solved into C0 and Cp T0 and H1 is equal to Cp T1. Same is equal to the denominator where T by Is comes from Cp into T by Is. This is isotropic expansion, the ideal expansion itself. So this is reduced to T minus T1, T0 minus Ts Tp. If the actual velocity at the exit of the nozzle is V1, the velocity at the exit of the flow is isentropic V1x, then V1 minus V1 square minus V0 square divided by V1 isentropic minus V0 isentropic. Velocity at the stagnation pressure is the actual velocity. Velocity with isentropic when this isentropic flow divided by the stagnation pressure. When inlet velocity is extremely small, then this becomes V1 by V0 square, V1 bar to here, V1 on S to V1. Sometimes the velocity phi is defined as the velocity of the actual exit velocity to exit velocity. The flow is isentropic in the same pressure. So phi is equal to eta n to the power half. Another coefficient which is frequently used in the ratio of the actual mass flow, omega 1 to the mass flow, which is should be passed with the flow where isentropic omega s. This is called coefficient of ratio CD. CD is given by this term omega into omega s itself. The convergent part of the is usually sharp and the divergent part is actually gradual. Most of the friction losses occurs in the diversion portion of the nozzle. If the same semi-reverential there will be a flow separation for the valve and then with the studies and formation of studies which will entail energy loss. If the angle alpha is small, the length of the nozzle becomes large to provide the desired exit flow area, causing more energy loss due to friction. Usually alpha becomes 5 degree to 5 degree. So what is alpha? The semi-divergent angle. This is the alpha itself. It is the alpha coming from this one to coming from this one. This is alpha itself. It is the low separation from the valve with the formation radius with the electrical slot. After it's very small, the length of nozzle becomes large to provide desired exit flow area. Well, so where do we stand? Usually alpha is 5 to 8 degrees and it is seen from the experimental point of view. Then there comes the nozzle type. Probably the most common physical conception of the nozzle is the converging diverging type, although its application in the turbine design is somewhat limited to a certain extent. More generally, the converging or subsonic models are used. Converging means common nozzle has the maximum diameter at the inlet and minimum diameter at the outlet itself, and diameter is reducing continuously throughout the length of the nozzle itself. And subsonic nozzles are also used, which can be used in under the water. Now, there are two types of axes: rimmed or rubber nozzle and foil nozzle. Rimmed nozzle is principally high pressure impulse stage, high pressure impulse stage, and upstream strength. Principal advantage of the rim nozzle is they are low cost, ease of manufacture, and low cost, ease of manufacturing, and adaptability to general standardization. The principal disadvantages are lower efficiency, somewhat lower length, and inability to utilize effectively for the flow purpose the area of the given flow analysis. The angle of divergence rim nozzles, as mentioned earlier, is generally between 12 and rarely over 14, around 12 degree and rarely over 15. In other words, in order to avoid slow separation with this advantage loss. The convergent part is normally sharp and a good fillet or rounded interface is provided. The foil nozzle is formed by carved airfoil section. The nozzle is short with well-rounded entrance edges and sharp exit of affording a good receiving jet. The nozzle has a high efficiency and costlier. A foil nozzle block is made by welding the individual foils within the section of concentric edge rings. The block then welded in place of outer inner shirt. The foil nozzle founds its application by large turbine, steam turbine itself. Foil nozzle represents airfoil. Nozzle, what is meant by is carved airfoil section. The nozzle is short, well-rounded entrance edges, well-rounded entrance edges, and sharp exit result in good entering jet itself. These nozzles have high efficiency and costlier, but foil nozzle block is made by welding the individual foils between the section of concentric string. The block is then welded in place between the outer and inner shafts. The flow nozzle finds wider application in large steam turbines. Now, what is the flow area of the nozzle? If the condition of the steam at the inlet, the flow area nozzle. The flow area of the nozzle. If the condition of the steam at inlet to the nozzle is known, the critical pressure P star can be estimated by multiplying the inlet pressure P0 by 0.4546 or 0.57. Critical pressure got by multiplying inlet pressure by 5 point means half, more or less half or slightly more than less than P0, depending on whether the inlet stream pressure by this one, depending on whether the inlet stream is superheated or dry saturated respectively itself. First, if it's superheated, is 5.46 and saturated, it is 577, means comparatively more. That's why if the exit pressure is given and nozzle efficiency is known itself, the exit velocity of stream as well as critical velocity of stream, exit velocity and critical velocity stream of the nozzle can be estimated from this equation 4472 V1, the exit velocity, and nozzle critical velocity. It is the critical velocity, the exit velocity more or less multiplied with the same factor, but H0, stagnation enthalpy divided by isentropic enthalpy minus and H0 minus H0, Hs multiplied with the efficiency of the nozzle itself. While enthalpy drops are read from Mollier chart with the actual state of exit at exit and throat being placed on Mollier diagram, the specific volumes can be obtained from it. Knowing the mass flow rate of spin and the flow rate requires at the nozzle as well as at the throat can be estimated from omega A star into V divided by V star and A1 V1 square divided by V0. And H0 A star is equal to omega V star divided by V star and A1 is equal to omega V1 by V1. A star is equal to omega V star divided by V dash and A1 omega V1 by V1. In the circular nozzle, is circular in cross section, then n is equal to pi by 2 d exit square, where n is the number of nozzles and d exit is the exit diameter of the nozzle itself. The nozzle section may be rectangular, square. Also, the folio type nozzles, foil type nozzles are mounted in a nozzle diaphragm, which is horizontally split into two halves and joined by the vertical flange flow, like this. The top half, this is the top half of the diaphragm, which forms the stator, can be lifted by cranes by exposing the rotor for inspection and repair itself. This is the top half, this is the bottom bolt, and if there is a gasket, it is to be saved here. This is the foil type nozzle, where it is the angle between this alpha is the angle of between the line of flow and eta m. Dm by Hn is equal to P, main diameter of the nozzle diaphragm, and H height of the nozzle, we have a pitch of the nozzle itself. Pitch of the nozzle is the mean diameter. So Dm mean diameter nozzle, Hn height of the nozzle, P is the pitch of the nozzle of the mean diameter, O is the minimum opening, T is the thickness, N is the number of nozzles. So alpha nozzle angle, the angle started with nozzle axis with the parallel rotation of the wheel. Then the minimum area of the nozzle is given by A0, AO into HN into N. Or O is equal to P into alpha minus T, and N is equal to D into Tm by P. So AN is equal to P into alpha minus T into HN itself, and Rho into Tm. If K is the nozzle thickness factor, and this is the pi dm Hn sin alpha 1 minus P itself, and pi into Tm Hn alpha into Km, when Km is the nozzle thickness factor itself. Now, let us consider of convergent nozzle, the nozzle operating in an off-design condition. But what is this? Let us consider convergent nozzle as in figure here. Figure below. It is also shows that the pressure ratio P by P0 varies between along the length of the nozzle. The inlet condition of the fluid is in the stagnant pressure, at P0 and T0, which is assumed to be the constant itself. The pressure at the exit plane of the nozzle is denoted by PE, and the back pressure is PB, which can be varied by a valve itself. As the back pressure is varied, the mass flow rate omega and the exit plane pressure P is also varied itself. This is P into T0, PE into P, and this is the valve for calculation of the strain. The pressure distribution, this is the length X, P on P0, PA is equal to P0 from here to here, and PE is equal to P0 from here. So we have this relation between P by P0 to omega by A, which is shown by the straight line here, and here we have a sharp curve, and here we are getting straight line here and curve is here. When PB by P0 to 1, there is no flow, and P by P0 to 1 as resisted by the point 1. If the back pressure is now resisted to 0, such as PV is equal to 1 by P0 itself, then P star by P0 is greater than P star by P0 is equal to P into PP and ME less than 1 itself. Now the back pressure is lower to the critical pressure than 0.3 when ME is equal to 1, ME is equal to PV. When PV is decreased below the critical pressure at 0.4, then there is no increase in the pressure flow mass flow rate, and P is equal to P is equal to P star, M is equal to 1. The drop in the pressure from P to PP occurs inside the nozzle exit. That is the choking limit, which means for the given stagnation condition, the nozzle is passing the maximum possible mass flow rate. This is the shown by the relation itself. Okay. Let's stop here.